Okay. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Nancy, and hi, everybody. Nancy and I are back with Between Two Mediums, and we have an exciting topic we wanted to talk about today. Um, and it's about um, getting ready to do a gallery reading. And it was about a year ago. It was about a year ago today or
Yeah,
soon
yeah, actually it was.
that uh, Nancy contacted me and said, "Hey, she had this idea of us working together and let's do some group readings. Let's do some gallery readings." And, looking back, we think how brave we were because I had never done a gallery read. She had never done a gallery read, and we were like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Right. And we hardly knew each other too. We had met at the retreat and
Yeah.
we both knew we were from Maryland. Someday something maybe would come between us, that we'd work together. But I just, yeah, remember walking around the track at the school I was substituting in on my lunch break, and I was like, I'm gonna give Kathy a call. I'm gonna leave her a message and see if she's up for this. So I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, and you think, I think that's how great things happen when you just kind of let it go and you just like get caught up in the excitement of it.
Mm.
And but one thing that Nancy and I did agree on that our purpose for doing this was to show different styles. I mean, Nancy is a medium, but she does in the gallery read, she does Akashic record reading. I do the evidential mediumship, and we wanted to show two different ways of connecting with spirit. There's many, many more. These are just two, but we wanted to do something different to have variety and and also we wanted to normalize it. So
Yeah.
we wanted to um, that was one of our that is one of our objectives to make this seem like this is not some big far out woo-woo thing. This is a normal thing. Connecting with spirit is kind of normal. And so that led us into and prepping for a gallery read and what we wanted it to look like. That led us into the what vibe did we want to set for the room? Um, what, what did we want it to feel and so we wanted to today to talk about the behind the scenes
Yeah.
setting up your gallery reading and what's it like to do a gallery reading, and we feel like this will be just like part one because there's a lot of talk
Yeah, there's a lot
about.
to it and stuff we had to think about too ahead of time. We started small and before we went a little bit bigger, and still we don't really go for the ones that are the giant, enormous groups, the having that cozy feeling and getting people to know us and us know them, we'll know them afterwards, but a little bit more, but just feeling, comfortable and supportive in a group is the vibe that we have, I believe.
Yeah, part of what we have to do then is to think about what do we want it to look like? What do we want to bring to the event? So in our topic today of talking about setting it up, do you we go out of our way to really think about where we're having it, the space, the physical space that we're in, um, and what we might want people to feel as they walk in. It's an experience that they're coming to. We want them to feel like they've had an experience.
Right.
So thinking about what you want to have out and about for them. So
Mhm.
I know like Nancy likes to bring some cards to read so people can come in and have
Yeah.
some kind of cards that we want the setup to be um it gives them something to do, I guess, when they
Yeah, I
come in.
remember I have a mentor that I work with sometimes and she's done readings for years and she said, remember people come nervous and you forget that after you've been doing this so long, it's like old hat. Like I go into a
Mhm.
session, it feels normal to connect with spirit, but oftentimes people are coming into these readings, especially in a group setting, not really having the experience one-on-one before and not having that connection with spirit. So she said, getting to my point, she said, there's this angel numbers book that I have where she's like, have them pick a number and go for that. So pulling a card, an oracle card is like a no like creepiness way to just get a quick message. I love oracle cards just for that. And they can find the, the meaning of it on their own. And it just kind of loosens people up to feel that they're connecting with spirit, but it's light and easy and it's nothing to be scared of. And I think that's important when you're coming into a group setting. You want everybody to be feeling positive and excited and not having this nervous energy when they're working with us.
And that's a very lighthearted
Yeah,
way to get them to be like, "Oh, okay, that's kind of um a pleasant experience to sit and pull a card and read about it a
yeah,
little bit." And I do agree. I think some people come in with all different levels of expectations, and nerves is definitely one of them. So we also we want it to be a peaceful
mm,
place. So I know that sometimes we do put like a chairs in a circle
hmm,
when we can, to make it feel more of a unity, because um, and to make it feel less us up front
yeah, yeah,
preaching to them. It's it's a circle. I think that really matters, and that helps to make people feel comfortable.
yeah.
Um,
And I think we know that from being teachers, right? Like when we put the chairs in a circle or we arrange things differently, you get more from the kids. You get more energy that's positive than feeling like it's a lecture and kids are on their phone or falling asleep. More in high school,
right.
but it just creates this cohesive group where there's more conversation, and I think it eases everybody up a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, we brought little lights before.
Mhm.
Personally, we don't a lot of places don't allow candles, and I know me, I'd be focused on, is that candle safe? So I kind of like the not
Yeah,
candles, but we also don't want to go too much into a seance-y kind of vibe. It's not a
yeah,
seance at all, but some people might come not knowing what to
yeah,
expect. So you want to keep it light and bright and comfortable, and just know your space and bring what you like. Having a few snacks helps.
yeah,
Food comforts people. So so the thinking of the vibe of the room and what you want to portray and how you want them to, with the space they walk into, I think is important when you're when we're planning an event. The
yeah,
different places that we've gone to, we've done things differently. Some we don't have much at all. We just keep it pretty simple. Or some we kind of make it um,
yeah.
fancier or prettier.
Yeah, yeah. And
Um,
I think people are confused too sometimes. When I years before I became a medium, way back when, I was going into rooms and it was more physical mediumship. I think sometimes people aren't quite sure how all these different mediumships work, but there isn't going to be with us where we're moving objects and there's sounds coming out of nowhere and it's in the
right.
pitch black. Like this is going to be a lit up area where we're just communicating with spirit and bringing messages through. It's not that. I mean, there's a time and place for that, and that's really beautiful experience when you can do that, but
But that's not
that's
what we're
not the
doing.
type of
Yeah.
mediumship that we're doing in a gallery reading that we are the leaders of. We are just bringing through messages, and it's a very like a conversation almost, or feeling like
Yeah,
you're part
it's
of a group session.
uplifting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
high energy, it's positive. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
But I want to
Um,
say, I kind of think it leads into our next thing, like what we do beforehand. I often in the car will connect with my guides ahead of time and say, okay, what do I need to know about the energy of this group, or what is important for us to bring forward? And sometimes they'll tell us how to set up the chairs. I know that one event that we did in Frederick that was really beautiful. They had us sit on either end as bookends almost, and have the energy between us like that, rather than being in the beginning or you know in a circle together, and that worked. I think that worked well when we did it like that.
I love it when Nancy comes in with, okay, my guide said we should do this as we're setting up. It makes me feel comforted to know that, okay,
Yeah,
like they have a hand in this. They're, of course they do, but it's confirming to know.
yeah. And I just want to say the reason I think that they had said it that way was just it was a midweek event after work. It was in the evening, and I think they could sense that the energy was going to be a little heavier or different at that time than usually we do them sometimes in the mornings, or you know,
On
anyway,
the
they just
weekends, yeah.
could sense the energy was a different, needed a different kind of pull with us, and having us as bookends kind of uplifted the group in that way.
Yeah, because people are coming from work and they're bringing
Yeah,
their baggage from work.
yeah,
So the
yeah,
energy we'd had to prepare, setting up, that helped us to prepare for dealing with the energy that's coming to the space. So
Yeah. Do
um
you connect ahead or how do you work? Because you
I
have
love it when you
mediumship.
come in and say that. I really do, because it makes, but no, I usually the day before. I
Okay.
don't necessarily connect. I just set my intention the day before, knowing that I'm going to have this reading coming up, and knowing that I just open myself up and set for with my intention that those loved ones in spirit that want to come through, come get to know me, feel comfortable coming closer to me and getting to know me. I welcome them. So then when we go do the reading, they can know how I best communicate, and how they can best get their message across through me. I don't open up to do readings the day before. I just set my intention and know that they're welcome to get to know me a little bit. Make that very clear. That's different from when I actually sit down and set my intention the moment of the event, where I go to work. I sit down and I say, okay, I am here to work, to be of service to spirit, and then let that come through. So I don't open up and I don't pre-link or do any of that, but I do welcome the energy to come and get to know me. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel like, all right, get to know my quirks, my ways.
Yeah.
So then things can come through the way, better maybe.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so I think it's just different. Definitely then I do think once we get to the venue, and Nancy and I, before we do our gallery read, I think this is very important. And this is something that we have um, really valued more, I think, is
Hmm.
setting our own intentions together. Not
Yeah.
just my intention individually and Nancy's intention, but together. Nancy and I come together and set our intention for the good of the group, for the highest good of
Yeah.
the group.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. The more we do it, the more important.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
it
that
it shifts it just a little bit. I think it gets it clear in our minds and also with spirit as to what's the point. Like just
yeah.
setting an objective as you would in a classroom. It just makes things flow better and be more clear and supportive.
Well, and it's, you got to remember that as much as we have to, our only job is to get into our headspace to be able to do this. We don't need to do all these extra things, but it
Hmm.
makes us feel better that we do. It
Yeah.
makes us feel like, okay, this is what I do in order to do a reading. And
Yeah.
even though I don't need to do them, this is what we do. I think it's very important. And our energy together, Nancy and I, we bring the energy. We bring
Mhm.
this, everybody brings the energy, but Nancy and I are in a, I feel like we really is, our energy is very important. And the more powerful we can be, the more connected her and I can be in our intentions. Um, help is going to be for the good of the group. So there's lots of things that go into planning an event on our
Yeah.
end, from just how do we want it? How are we going to bring our best selves? How are we going to give the experience um,
Hmm.
a comfortable, how are we going to give a comfortable space for those who are
Yeah.
coming? Um, so that's a little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah. I think next there's so much to talk about. You
I
probably
know.
maybe heard the whole timer because we were kind of trying to keep it shorter, but yeah, there's so much to talk about, and we can do next time maybe talk about, what we actually do when we're the in the gallery reading and how that works. And then even
Yeah.
later maybe what people can do if they're coming, how they can maybe hope to get a message or what they can do just so their energy is set right for the experience.
Yeah.
So thank you all for coming. And yeah, definitely tune in to part 2 when we talk more about this and give you a behind the scenes look at our gallery readings. If you have questions or comments, please write them below and we'll be sure to answer them down there or in one of our chats together. And don't forget to subscribe so you can be notified when we upload new ones.
Thanks so much. Until next time.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.